Hi, I'm back. I wanted to do another video for you just to share a little bit about where my thoughts are coming from, what has led me to be this frustrated pastor. And that's what I'm going to title this channel, as A Frustrated Pastor. This goes back to my formal education, seminary. After 6 years of going through um, the education that they give you, it became very frustrating to understand where the church has been from the dawning of the church to today. Um, we learned in school about the Reformation, early and medieval, the persecution of the heretics. Anyone who spoke out against the church, the early church, was killed, basically, or silenced in one way or another, imprisoned. Um, the Reformation really had a big impact when Martin Luther came forward and said to the church and nailed it to the church door, "These are the things I object to. I'm not mad, but I just want to have conversation about this." And we all kind of know how that story ended, or maybe you don't. But he was chased down and silenced for the most part. But that became a split in the church, the very first split from the mother church to look at different ways of doing things. Um, I think probably one of the clearest ways I've seen this recently is in the movie Angels and Demons with Tom Hanks, where they talk about Galileo trying to find some of his paperwork that was left over that was not destroyed by the church, because he was talking that there's actually this galaxy and the Earth is not the center of the universe, and it was just felt to be wrong teaching, so they wanted him silenced. And I think the key for us in all of this is to go back and look at the early church, the church of the first 100 years. One of the things that has come forward for me and God put in my life was when I got done with my schooling, I went to a pastor's school for continuing education in Michigan. And there was a lady there, I don't have her name yet, and I'll share with you later in another video what the book was. But she talked about the first 100 years of the church, from the death of Jesus for the first 100 years, and what the church looked like and what it was, the reality that the first crucifixion appeared in artwork in 80 to 90 years AD. So, years after Jesus' death, humanity started to use Jesus' death for their own ideals. People were put to the sword if they didn't take communion. Silly things like that happened, that humanity was trying to form Christianity to their own ways. I think it's also important that we go back before man created the Bible. I think there's some complications that have come out of our applications and understanding of what the Bible really is, and that spirit leading that we have. So let's go back before the time of the Bible. For me, that is where the true Genesis. Maybe we'll use our flux capacitor and go back to the future, if it were, to look at the early church. And it's important that we go back and understand that this is a time before uh, Christianity was accepted by the Roman Emperor Constantine around 300 AD. There was ramifications about that I think continue to destroy what the church was meant to be, and the message that is being brought forth. And again, this is before Christian buildings, before church buildings were created, which took Christianity out of the homes that people met in and took it from that organic, spirit-led people that we were called. And in my high tech, I've got to change my notes over here on my computer to continue this. Um, Back then in that first century, there were churches called the Church of Philippi, the Church of Ephesus. There was not the Catholic Church, the Baptist Church, the Lutheran denominations, the Methodist, the Reformed. It was the church created by God, not created for other reasons, and because we disagreed on an issue, we had to separate. Um, so, if you're thinking, what does the Bible have to say of this? We go back to the book of Acts, the very first dawn of the church, even before the word Christianity was being used. People were responding to what they had found in the man called Jesus, and how he empowered them by the Spirit, as you look in John 14 chapter, and he promises the Holy Spirit. I think it's actually 13 and 14. But I invite you to read those, see what Jesus promises us. And maybe you can hear in there also what Jesus does not promise us. I think today is kind of a metaphor. If you listen to my welcoming video, I've come from the darkness out into the light of day. And I think part of that is a good metaphor for what I'm trying to put forward here. In the future, book reviews will be coming. I'm going to share some foundational books that I have. I'll probably take each book and do a video about each one to share with you a little bit about what I heard and sense from those books. This is a work in progress. As I've shared before, I'm taking the Spirit's leading and taking the prompting to speak to people who want to listen, who want to hear about these things, and are frustrated with the church and with Christianity today. I talked about the heretics. That's me, I guess. If I'm speaking out against some of the things that I see as direction we went wrong in some senses. So people will label me a heretic because I don't believe in sola scriptura, the Bible alone. I believe that the Bible is one of the many gifts that God gave us to help us figure things out with our head and with our heart and with that spirit that he gave to us. People labeled me at one church I went to in the very first week I was there as the Bible who doesn't believe in, as the pastor who does not believe in the Bible, because I didn't accept things the way they perceived them and the way they had been taught through sola scriptura. So if you want to walk on this journey with me, come on and we'll talk, we'll have conversations. I'm going to try to figure out a way to get you to communicate back with me, maybe on some type of blog or something. But if I'm making you mad already, see you later. Don't need to spend time with you. I do have another metaphor this morning, and it's right here behind me. This is my porta-john at the place that I have in the woods that I go hide out at sometimes. And I'm trying to figure out which hand to use here. Okay, here it is. Here's that outhouse. I've often wondered about creating a church called the Outhouse. And our catchphrase would be a place to come dump your crap. Do you have a place like that in your life where you can come and dump the crap that you're dealing with in life, and people will listen and people will share views, listen to you? I hope this can be a place for you and a place for us to look at what it is that Christ called us to do in the days leading up to his death and what his Spirit calls us to do and to be for the world, so that people may know Jesus Christ's love. Again, folks, remember, you will never meet a person that Jesus did not die for. Blessings on your day. Peace out.